What would you do for a piano? This is the piano, a second look. Yeah, so not quite as catchy as a Klondike bar, but still a movie. So click subscribe because I want to talk about the piano and I want you to be here for it. I want you to be here for all the conversations. This film is not available with audio description right now, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. It's an Academy Award nominated film. Sort of when I realized that Schindler's List celebrated its 30th anniversary last year, I was like, what other films did I miss that came out in 1993? Was I supposed to celebrate like their 30th anniversary? And I was like, let's talk about the piano. Because when I searched for does it have audio description, it wasn't listed anywhere with audio description. This film has a lead that does not speak. So let's talk about that. How fun was this watching without audio description? Well, I kind of remember the piano from back in the day. I'll be honest and say I watched the piano at a time in my life where I wasn't really in the piano stage. I liked more fun movies than this. This was a little bit of a slow burn for me. Teenage boys don't get excited for the piano. I mean, like even me and my, throw films at me, let me absorb them so that I can continue to put them out into the world phase. Still didn't fully appreciate or understand or really love the piano. Um, but even with that, I do kind of remember it, and that was one of the things that stood out to me was it's like Holly Hunter doesn't talk. Why doesn't this have audio description? So didn't this win an Academy Award? Yeah. So probably a film we should audio describe. It's really difficult to understand the story of this mother and daughter who moved to New Zealand with Sam Neill, and they lived there. And I totally forgot. It's so weird because I'm like, what is Harvey Keitel Maori? What is he doing here? Like what? If I know in 30 years we've moved a lot in terms of like not casting actors in these types of roles, but he's got an accent, and I'm like, is he just like accepted by the Maori people in this film? I I couldn't quite pick up on the vibe. It's funny what you remember and what you don't remember. The second looks are great that way, especially if it really is a second look, especially if you've only seen the one film and the one time you saw it, you were like 15. And this wasn't really your jam. Jane Campion was not really my jam when I was 15. Um, it's yeah. So there were plenty of times where I like remembered scenes and the dialogue brought things back, and sometimes it didn't, and I was like, what's happening here? What is this? I just remember I thought it was a really good performance from Holly Hunter in the lead role, who really just doesn't get enough love as an actress anymore. I think I don't know. I feel like we just kind of let that go, and it's a shame because she's a fierce, fantastic actress full of so much potential. And Harvey Keitel is great too, by the way. Maybe not in this. Maybe this isn't my favorite Harvey Keitel performance, but just the stretch that he's making here is really, really good. Sam Neill, um, I feel like is always an underrated actor. And I think Anna Paquin's performance is fine. Looking back on it, I'm like, I don't know that is this the Oscar-winning performance that we need? But I feel that way about some of the people that we've nominated before. When we do nominate child actors, it seems like we don't always nominate them for the right performance. I mean, like it's there are other actors who probably could have broken through or should have broken through, but we don't nominate them, like Jacob Tremblay in Room didn't get a nomination, but like Abigail Breslin did for Little Miss Sunshine. It's like if our kids if they're too dramatic, if they're doing too much, you know, uh, then they may not get recognized for it. So Yeah, but then again, if Anna Paquin hadn't gotten that Oscar, then where would her career be still today? So I don't know. Would I trade taking away the Oscar away from her just to see if all of the things that she ended up doing went away? Probably not. Um, but yeah, I just want to talk about the piano and the lack of audio description because it is incredibly difficult to understand what happens to her. There's a scene towards the end. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the piano because I don't know how many people have seen the piano. Um, there's a scene towards the end involving the piano. We'll say that so that people who have seen it know what I'm talking about. Um, and I remembered the imagery of it, but it took me a minute when it was happening to figure out what was happening without audio description. This is a weird watch for me, but I did it so that I could talk about it. The lead character doesn't speak, and it's translated, like the ASL and stuff is translated through Anna Paquin. It's a very weird film to watch without audio description. So let's get it described. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to give the piano technically a grade of unwatchable. If I was going based off of the grade of the 15-year-old self mixed with, I'm just going to pass on that because I feel like I've never seen this film with its complexities from an adult frame. To me, this film was boring as a kid, but that's fine because I was a teenage boy and it's just not a film. I feel like this is not the film for teenage boys. I was starting to get into film and stuff like that. But to give you an actual grade of how I felt about the film back then, I was awake, so it kept me. And there are parts of it that I do remember still today. It's fun getting to do these things that I saw a long time ago and watch them now without with audio description. And but I don't really want to put a grade on it because time changes things. You look back on things with rose-colored glasses, but also things can go the other way too. So it's just not something I feel very strongly on grading. But I do remember Holly Hunter's amazing performance. I think even then, I think that's what captivated me was Holly Hunter in this, was watching her do all of this expressionist stuff without needing to say a word, without needing dialogue. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.